Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. We got Ernest back on the channel here to talk more Miami Heat basketball. Hope you're doing well, Ernest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. God woke me up today, so I'm living my best life.
Awesome, man. So before we get started, though, do you want to let the audience know where they can find your work before we get started?
Yes, sir. You can find me at Miami Heat Talk on YouTube. Don't forget the wrestling channel, Ernest_R_Alexander III. I'm a professional wrestler down here in South Florida. Boy does multiple things, but I'm here today to do my favorite thing, and that's to talk Miami Heat basketball with my boy Amir, because we got another episode of Dos Minutos.
We need to rebrand that. Thank you for reminding me about that, because we did start this show last year, and I think we've had like 4 or 5 episodes each, but
All right.
I definitely need to rebrand that. I'll add that to the thumbnail. Thank you for reminding me. This is the best 2 minutes of your day, even though it's longer than 2 minutes. Ernest and I say we're going to do 10 minutes, we do 20. We say 15, we do 30. So, yes,
I'm
here
a
we
Cuban,
are with
man.
another
I'm a
episode.
talker.
Yes, and I'm a Middle Eastern. I talk a lot too. So let's get started on the latest rumors and speculation, because that's what the offseason is always about, and that's what Heat Nation on YouTube loves to talk about the most, even though I don't, theoretically. I somewhat enjoy it, but I don't thoroughly enjoy it. So the biggest thing that came out yesterday, which I didn't really talk about yet, was Bradley Beal possibly getting bought out by the Phoenix Suns. There's also a mention that he might get waived and stretched, which I think would be so stupid for them. That means it would be similar to the Damian Lillard situation. He has 2 years, 110 left, so he's averaging 55 per year. That means he would be making 20 plus million over the next 5 years, which would still hit the cap for the Suns. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to buy him out. He's going to have to take a little less money, but he could recoup that somewhere else. So there has been speculation that the Miami Heat could be interested, obviously, revisiting the Bradley Beal situation, which we've done 3 times now. And we've actually, luckily, have bypassed that scenario because of his injury history, because of his contract, because of the no trade clause. But if he is bought out or waived and stretched, he becomes an unrestricted free agent, meaning he makes his money through the Suns. He can take a smaller deal. He's still young enough and he's healthy at the moment where I don't think he would take a veteran minimum, which would be 2-3 million, whatever that is. But he can come in perhaps for a smaller salary, under 10 million. There's also speculation with Damian Lillard, which we've all talked about, that he has been waived and stretched. He might be available too, and he is going to decide where he wants to go. Now there's reports saying that we can get both Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal for less than 10 million per season. What are your thoughts? Would you do that? Do you think it makes sense? But let's start off on the Bradley Beal piece first.
Bro, with Bradley Beal, I mean, there was actually another report by Barry Jackson that the Heat and the Suns actually had talks in the offseason. Yeah, this week about a potential Bradley Beal trade. But the Heat basically said what I'm sure every team said. No, no, we're not taking a guy who's making $53 million next year, then $57 million next year, who has a no trade clause, who only averaged 17 points a game playing 53 games. No. Now.
38, actually. 53 was the year before, so even less. 38 games. So even 38. Worse.
Oh my God. No, I'm looking at his stats. This year he played 53 games. Yeah, 53 games, 32 minutes a game, 17 points a game.
Oh, my bad. He started 38. He played
he started 38. Yeah, but I mean, like, if you look at his numbers, 17 points a game, 49% from the field, almost 39% from 3, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, solid numbers, not for a guy that makes $53 million. So I completely get the whole buyout concept. Phoenix has tried everything they can to move Beal. You know, this would just benefit Beal, because why are you going to be somewhere where they obviously don't want you? So I'm sure. Yeah. And honestly, I think the same way for Terry Rozier. You know, other teams are seeing this. When a guy is just making so much money and is untradeable, and a team will hit them up to try to trade for them, and they're like, no, we know you're gonna buy him out. It's like, we'll just pick him up in free agency, whatever. Like, I think this, like Bradley Beal, it's the smartest decision. And when you look at Bradley Beal's numbers, and I said this in my episode yesterday that I cut, Bradley Beal at $53 million, hell nah. Bradley Beal at $10 to $14 million with the mid-levels exception, absolutely. I can see Bradley Beal coming on this team, and there's people that's like, oh, Bradley Beal won't come off the bench. Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. Because if he gets bought out and he signs for the mid-level exception, he's only 32 years old. So right now he needs to do what Dion Waiters did in 2016. You need to bet on yourself and double down. You still have an opportunity to get a Klay Thompson level contract that he signed with Dallas. I think if Bradley Beal gets bought out, comes to the Miami Heat, takes a six-man role, because you can't start Bradley Beal and Tyler in the backcourt. That's just ridiculous. But if Bradley Beal comes off the bench and he can average somewhat these numbers, I can definitely see him, next year, if he does a 2-year with a player option, I could see him next season sign a 3-year, $50 million contract with a stupid-ass team. Like, I really see that. So, I mean, for Bradley Beal, I would definitely entertain bringing him in. He gives you exactly what you need. This Miami Heat team needs scoring, especially off the bench. And that's what Bradley Beal can provide. We already have a fire starting lineup with Kel'el Ware, Bam Adebayo, Andrew Wiggins if he stays, Hero, and Davion Mitchell. You bring Bradley Beal as your sixth man off the bench, Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic, Kasparis Yakachonis, and Haywood Highsmith and others. This is a team, in my opinion, that could at least try to contend for top 6, like the 6th or 5th seed, maybe.
Yeah, but do you think Bradley Beal, if he wants a prove it year kind of contract, do you think he would want to come off the bench? Because to your point, he is still 32. His role was the third option. It was clunky because they didn't have a traditional point guard. They had Tyus Jones, coming off the bench. But Bradley Beal and Booker, that's 2 shooting guards. They both need the ball in their hands. To your point, you even said him and Tyler starting wouldn't make sense because that would be the same dilemma for the Miami Heat, right? Having two of those guys who are not playmakers who need the ball in their hands. So do you think he would actually come off the bench? That's the only issue. I would definitely give him the mid-level. Could you imagine trying to get the biannual? Isn't that a little bit way cheaper to get him on the biannual?
The
That's
biannual
like $5 million.
exception, $5.1 million. I mean, if he'll take it,
could you imagine that?
Yeah, I can, because look, he's not going to sign a 4 to 5 year deal. Like, he's going to get bought out. He's going to go to a team. He's going to sign a 1 year with a player option. That's a betting on himself deal, but you do a player option just in case if you get injured. He'll take 1 year, and 2 points to what you just said and why I think Beal would take the bench role. Well, actually, maybe a third reason. First reason, you have Spo, you have the Miami Heat weather, which he's been dying to go to for years now. Barry Jackson reported today that Bradley Beal still likes Miami, even though Miami didn't want him a few years ago. Yeah, so all the stars are aligning. Bradley Beal vacations here in the summer, so why not play here? Secondly, the reason why it didn't work in Phoenix, that was bad roster construction. If you talk to Bradley Beal, if you have Spo sit down with Bradley Beal and explain to Bradley Beal, you will be our sixth man, but you will be closing games. You will have Bam Adebayo and Kel'el Ware constantly setting pick and rolls for you. You have Nikola Jovic who can set a pick and pop. You have a guy like Kasparis Yakachonis who can get the ball right to your chest whenever you have the open shot. You are selling, and the third reason, Bradley Beal needs to show other teams, if he wants to get another contract, that it's not about averaging 25 points a game. It's about being a team player. And that's one knock that he got playing in Phoenix with Kevin Durant. So do I see Bradley, will his ego allow him to take a 6-man role? Probably in the beginning, maybe not. But it's the best opportunity for him if he wants to succeed. Because there's 3 teams that are rumored for Bradley Beal: the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Heat. The Lakers and the Clippers, and my friend knows this who lives in California, California has one of the biggest state taxes in the United States. So he's not going to get a lot of that money back. Then these teams, LA doesn't have their mid-level exception. All they have is the biannual and the minimum. I don't think the Clippers have the mid-level exception. The Heat have both the biannual and mid-level exception. The Heat are in Florida where there's no state taxes. Florida is also where Bradley Beal vacations. Now, you can't knock California weather and California beauty. Maybe Bradley Beal goes there for the betting on himself and doubling down. Because if he goes to the Lakers, that's a contender. If you're coming to the Heat, you're competing. That's too different. So that would be the only reason why I don't think Bradley Beal would do it. But if, in my opinion, the best fit for Bradley Beal, and this is going to be on his mind because I know when he went to Phoenix, he thought they were going to dominate. Remember what Devin Booker said, I don't see anyone that can guard us. I'm sure Bradley Beal's eyes were open to the fact that it just didn't work. So if he goes to the Lakers with LeBron, Luka, Ayton, Reeves, what's he going to do? If he goes to the Clippers with Kawhi, Harden, Powell, all these guys, what is he going to do? But if he comes to the Heat, he will be the number 2 option.
He'll be a focal point. Yep.
He'll be a focal point in the offense. And here's another thing you're telling Bradley Beal. You want to get this bag? Get your ass out there against the second unit and dominate against them. Can you imagine in the first quarter, Tyler Hero is balling out. He scores 10 points in the first quarter, comes out with 2 minutes left in the game, and Bradley effing Beal is the guy that's coming off the bench for him. That is the same game, same offensive firepower. I like it.
I like it too. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, especially the role-defined piece with the Lakers. Do you want to contend, or do you want to have an opportunity to increase your value and then also contend? So, because with the Lakers, he's not going to be able to increase his value. He's going to be a role player. He's going to be a role player technically with the Heat too, but it's a more defined role. It's the sixth man. Your point will still give you 32 minutes. What did he play last season? Let me look real quick. I have it up.
He averaged 32 minutes a game.
Yeah, 32 minutes a game. So yeah, okay. We'll give you 32, 33 still. You'll come off the bench. You'll close basically. Like that, like you're going to be the sixth man. So you're going to have way more opportunity than you will with the Lakers, who have Reeves, who's basically that shooting guard, basically that is 25 years old in his prime, way younger, like on a cheaper contract right now. Like I don't think he's going to leapfrog Reeves for that role. So I think that's a good point.
And then, look, you could try a starting lineup of Bam Adebayo, Kel'el Ware, Andrew Wiggins, Bradley Beal, and Tyler Hero. That's not a bad starting lineup. And what you can do is you can make Beal and Hero the focal point in the offense while having Bam, Ware, and Wiggins be your primary defenders. I just like Davion Mitchell starting more because this allows Tyler to be that dude. He is the focal point of the offense. And we just need Wiggins to really step up, which in my opinion, he was doing before the playoffs. Wiggins was doing fine. That injury bit us in the ass, the hamstring injury. Yep. You know what I mean? But I think it's fine. And that's to my point what I'm trying to make. It's not about always putting your best 5 players in the starting lineup. It's chemistry and how do the roles fit. When the Heat first traded for Terry Rozier a couple of years ago, Jesus Christ, why did we do that? But when we did that, I was constantly saying, have Tyler come off the bench as the 6th man. Not because I didn't think Tyler was good enough to start, because Tyler and Rozier have the same game. If you have Tyler coming off the bench with Rozier starting and Duncan Robinson at the 2 at the time, I was saying that's a perfect combination. That's the same thing I'll say now. Hero and Davion Mitchell need to start, so that way Mitchell is guarding the opposing player's best defender. Best offensive player. And then when either of those dudes come off the bench, Bradley Beal's coming in. That's dangerous.
Well, I also like it too because when Brad comes off the bench, because it's Davion is he's not a traditional point guard, but he is basically our only point guard outside of Drew Smith, who's going to be coming off that back-to-back ACL, then Achilles. So we don't know what his role is going to look like. He's going to be on a 2-way versus standard contract. So who knows when he'll be ready. So we don't really have another point guard. But we do now because we drafted Kasparis. So
that's what we got Kasparis, man.
Him and Bradley coming off the bench, and if he's not ready to play against NBA level talent, then we have Bradley Beal, who is another good ball handler. He's not a point guard, but he is a former all-star 3-level scorer who can handle the rock off the bench. That gives us another ball handler off the bench with Jovic, with Kasparis coming off the bench. So you have 3 guys who are able to dribble and penetrate. So I think if Kasparis is not playing up to par as a rookie and getting some DMPs, then you have Bradley Beal at least running the second unit with a Nico or a Drew Smith, perhaps, depending on who's out there. So yeah,
I like it. Kasparis will learn a lot, man. He'll learn a lot.
We'll see. Anyway, thank you so much, Ernest, for hopping on. Appreciate the insights. I think obviously what you said makes a lot of sense, having him come off the bench. So hopefully Bam can get on the phone and use that best friend card because he's best friends with everybody. At some point, like Bam, like you got to lose some of these friendships because if you don't get any of these guys to join, and it's not all his fault. Obviously, it depends on the Miami Heat's front office. It obviously depends on whatever other team's front office. Sometimes that's difficult, to manage, but he needs to get one of his friends because that's another factor too, that him and Bradley Beal have had a good relationship for the past 6 years or so. That was another reason why Bradley Beal wanted to join the Heat.
Yeah, man. I think it's a good fit. I think it's a good fit. Not at $53 million, but if Homeboy takes $10 million, and that way you can leave a little bit of money freed up if you want to get Dame. It's like I mentioned with Dame. With Dame, you can give him a 2-year contract. He's making $23 million per season for the next 5 years. You just hit up Dame, you be like, bro, let's give you a 2-year contract, $10 million. Yep, you rehab this year. We'll pay you $5 million this year just to rehab your freaking Achilles. Then next year, give us a Dion Waiters year from 2016. Bet on yourself and double down. And even though he'll be, I believe, 36 at that point, the NBA is ridiculous. They be throwing contracts away for nothing. So Dame can still get a one more contract before he rides off in the sunset. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, and Dame is also that elite superstar like Steph at 37, like KD at 37, like LeBron at 40, that are like these guys who have played for so long, but they are surpassing the traditional window of like age 34, 35s when you start declining heavily. We'll throw Chris Paul in there, even though his numbers are way down from the past, but even Chris Paul at age 40 is still that type of dude that was an elite superstar that has still maintained and lasted longer than other superstars who were out of the league by age 30, 31. Like Blake Griffin is not on any of those, on the level of any of those guys, but Blake Griffin was a 6-time All-Star, averaging 26, 27 points per game because of injuries, because of whatever. He was out of the league by age 34. Like even by age 31, he was on what team? The Nets, the Celtics. Like he started going and hopping to different teams. Dame has shown even at age 34, he could still average 25, 7, 5 rebounds. So hopefully he can. So hopefully he can come back like KD did. Even KD had an Achilles injury at age 33, whatever it was. 4 years later, KD's still putting 27 points per game. So
look at that.
Take that chance on Dame, I think, for sure, and get these two guys on the Miami Heat team. Even though we've missed out on these guys multiple times, that would be such a Miami Heat team.
Look, we're going youth movement. Unless you're going after Giannis, push all your chips in. But for now, we know what we have this season. We know it's a gap year. But if you're able to pick up guys like Bradley Beal and Damian Lillard, like these little moves is what takes you from being a 10th seed. Now you could be a 6th seed. My opinion.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ernest. Make sure, everybody, that you guys go to Ernest's channel, Miami Heat Talk. Subscribe to his channel. He's pushing to 7,000 subscribers. Make sure to subscribe to my channel as well if you guys want more NBA and Miami Heat content. Anything else, Ernest, before we got to go?
Have a blessed day. Happy 4th of July. And that is enough said.